Welcome to our first podcast, Chiquiddle. Can I quest that line? I'm here with my co-host. God damn it.
Fine.
Welcome back to our first podcast of Chiquiddle, aka Can I Quest That Line? I'm Ryan Rose, your host, with my co-host, Big I Can't Say That Nev, Long John Silver, Schmidlstein Quadelstein, Nevin Hewitt.
Hi. Everyone calls me all those names all the time. Welcome to the first official episode of Can I Quest That Line? We're excited to be here, and we are looking for a Red Bull sponsorship. So if anybody at Red Bull or anybody who knows anybody at Red Bull is watching this, send us an email. It'll be in the description below.
We totally have a platform set up for that already.
Yeah. I love taurine and ginseng. Anyway, we're here today to talk about basically give an introduction to not only who we are, but also the game of D&D in general. For those of you who know D&D and love it, you get to hear about why we love it. And for those who don't know about it, you're going to learn today.
It's a pretty fun game. Consume most of my life and soul. And mentality.
And bank account.
And bank account. But it doesn't have to consume yours.
True. It has not consumed mine. Maybe that'll be the next episode will be D&D on a budget, and I'll show off all my shit.
That.
Mine
will be D&D without a budget. Because I'm in debt.
I'm $40,000 in debt, and it's all in minifigures.
It's all in minifigures and dice.
What's the resellers market on that stuff? Like, you know how like you buy Pokemon cards and you can like sell. There's like valuable ones that you can sell back, or like on eBay, and like sometimes even turn a profit.
You know, I'm sure there's a niche for it. Like,
true.
I'm sure there's like some like super old. Because like, even you go to shout out Century Box. Century Box should sponsor us. A great place to get all your D&D supplies.
Yes, that's a much more realistic and applicable sponsor.
Located at.
We'll tell you, depending on how the negotiations go.
Okay, that's fair. I was just gonna. Anyways. So, starting off, you want to do some introductions on our personal lives, on our background and experience in D&D.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be some overlap here. We both started in junior high school.
Definitely junior high. Shout out Xavier for getting us into D&D.
True. Yeah, I would say that as well. But I always I think it's my fascination began with like seeing it in media, because people like it would always be the joke of, oh, what a nerd, he plays D&D, and then I'd be like, that sounds kind of cool actually. What is this about? And there was that Futurama movie that was like kind of D&D inspired.
That was fucking goated.
And that I remember watching that probably at too young of an age and being like, this is sick as hell. So I was always like, I always wanted to, but it was never until like junior high where like I got the chance with Xavier, and then I played it, and I was like, it was like a movie in my head.
So cool, man.
Yeah. What was your first game? Do you remember?
Yeah, my first game was with Xavier, and we were so young. None of us knew how to play D&D properly. We were doing most of the don'ts in D&D, as many new players do. We'll go over those in a later bit. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. You really get to see that imagery in your head, and it really is just like kind of like playing a little movie in your head and creating your own story, which is by far my favorite part about D&D.
True. And it feels like recounting a D&D story to somebody who like is interested in D&D, they'll get it. But I'm always like, if I'm telling somebody who doesn't play D&D something that happened in the game, I'm sure they're just like, but it's all made up. Like, it didn't actually happen. Yeah. But it feels like it is, because you're in character in the moment, and there's a chance you could fail. So when you succeed, it's like it's that much more gratifying, because there's the chance that you could fail and die or lose all your stuff, or
100%. You actually have some like real ties and emotions to that character.
Yeah.
It's like trying to explain your favorite anime to someone who doesn't watch anime. They're like, the fuck are you talking about? All that sounds crazy and a little perverted, which is honestly a great way to describe D&D.
Well, maybe your D&D. My D&D is straight edge.
My parties are sick fucks.
We don't even kill in my D&D campaigns. We just give all the bad guys stern talking tos and firmly written letters.
slap on the wrist.
Yeah. So you enter the forest and you hand him a letter that tells him to stop. And he stops and you win.
Yeah. So how long have you been playing D&D? How many campaigns have you done?
How many campaigns have I done? Well, so I started as a player, and then I got really into, as I was like wanting to play more D&D, like at the start of high school, which would have been 2016. 2016, I think, is when Not Another D&D podcast with some people who used to work at College Humor. They came out with this show, and it was like, I think I've recommended it to you, but it was like an eye opener. I was like, this is awesome. I haven't been keeping up recently because, life gets in the way, but I listened to that podcast and I was like, yo, this is sick. I need to be a DM so that I can play. So then I started DMing. We did a little thing, and then I carried that campaign on with some of my other friends for a year, and then I didn't play much because I went to like university, and then I picked it back up in university, and since then I think I've done like 5 campaigns.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Maybe,
Pretty
but each
healthy
one is only like the longest one would have been like a year. Other than that, it's like 4 to 6 months. Just about the length of a semester.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Would you say you've had most campaigns as a player or a DM?
No, DM for sure. As you as well. I know.
Definitely me as well. Definitely
The
me as well.
curse of the DM. Once you start, it's like,
It's like a genie.
yeah.
Just keep granting wishes until someone's like, I want 1 million wishes. And you're like, you're DM now. Good luck. I'm free.
Hey, that's a good idea, man. You should take over. And then you give them the lamp, and they're like, hey, I'm stuck in the lamp now. And you're like, fuck, see ya.
See ya.
I'm getting out of here. Good luck. But yeah, how many have you run? I know you've had some longer ones than I know that.
Yeah, so definitely when I got into it, like I was like, really dive on in. For anyone who gets that, you're a goat. American Dad, sponsor us. We love you, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, true.
Definitely playing over 10 years. Probably have had around 7 campaigns as a DM. And, some of them super long. Like, my longest one, I think we're coming up on 3 years now.
That's crazy.
Crazy. They're like level 22 or some bullshit.
I would never.
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Stakes are high. But good Lord, are they powerful. And it just gets political, which can be fun, but it depends on your vibe. But I've also had, like, with you DMing too, maybe like 6 campaigns as a player. And, so I even DM for my sisters too, which is a lot of fun. They enjoy it. Definitely a lot, watered down so they can get it, a lot easier. But
Yeah.
I think they've already gotten the bug. One of my sisters tried to start a D&D club at her school. I have to chat. I don't think it's going very well, but support it.
You gotta try, man.
Whatever your school is, baby sis, we should get them sponsored. We'll get you there.
True. We'll come in. We'll do a live show for them.
Exactly. There we
We
go.
just do this, or we don't censor anything.
The whole classroom is players. You DM one half, I'll DM the other half.
And they all fight a brass dragon, an adult brass dragon. And they're all level 1. But it's like 100 level 1s against a brass dragon.
100 men versus 1 gorilla.
That'd be fun. 100 men versus 1 gelatinous cube. In real life. God, I want a gelatinous cube.
Sponsor us gelatinous cubes.
Yeah, so same. As a player, I've only really done like one-shots. I don't know if I've ever really returned to a character that I've made. That's why, so every time I do it, I just do champion fighter because I know I'm not coming back to this character and I just want to like have it done for this one session. And so I swing my big sword and I try to get a crit on 19. I'm like, yes.
So I don't think I played one fighter actually, but that's a story for another
It's
time.
really challenging, actually. especially champion fighter.
For those of you who don't play D&D, that's a joke.
That's an inside joke. It's the easiest class to play. It's literally just swing your sword and have a higher chance of doing double damage.
So we've talked about a lot of our experience in D&D, but for those of you who are probably tuning in for the title,
True.
it's probably below me right now. What is D&D? How would you explain it to a newcomer that wouldn't just melt their brain like a gelatinous cube might?
D&D is forfeiting your chances of ever having any pussy ever again.
On the contrary, you can have familiars, okay? So if you're okay with that kind of pussy, then come on in.
Familiars are typically animals, correct?
Yeah, like pussycats.
Oh.
Get your fucking sick ass
I thought your sick ass mind was telling our audience to do some heinous things. And I was going to say, we're cutting this.
Red Bull does not condone any bestiality. We probably have to cut this part out.
I know my bowls are red. I've lost the plot of this. No, Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy role-playing game where you and your friends hang out and imagine. So it goes down to DMs, Dungeon Masters, and players. We are forever DMs. We're cursed to this life. I've trying to break free, but I can't. The chains are still around my ankles. I think the chains are like up to your neck.
I've just accepted my fate at this point.
Yeah. So the Dungeon Master sets up the game and the world that the game takes place in. They make all the lore, and a lot of it's pre-written. Like I think you call on the pre-written lore a lot more than me. I just make up whatever, and I just stick to the rules and the monsters for like stat blocks and stuff. But like a lot of my gods, I won't think about, or if I do, I did one where I thought about the gods and I made my own. But typically now I just like look up D&D gods and scroll through the list whenever I need a god.
Yeah, and I think both ways are like very acceptable. You can go either or. There's definitely pros and cons to both. Personally, I just love the lore of D&D. It is fascinating. It's crazy, and it's just it gives a lot of inspiration, a couple things to draw from. But then again, if you just want to make up your own gods and you know your own original story, all the better.
That's where the blood avatar came from. It was that. I forget how it was. It had to do with the humors, like the 4 humors being like black bile, yellow bile,
that's cool.
blood, and phlegm. And so the blood avatar, the avatar of the blood god, was the patron of Patrick's, one of my players' characters, Warlock. So he called on the blood avatar. And then
Can we get that?
the blood avatar voice?
The audience is dying for it.
All right, let's do a little role play. You're a warlock and you're calling to the blood avatar.
O heavenly God, I call upon thee for thy mighty power. I need blessings.
Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing? You for a little blood power? Sure, man, for sure, man. Let me just pause my League of Legends really quick. Oh, wait, hold up. Okay, I just clutched.
I'm sorry, but God, you just clutched?
Yeah, I just clutched. I was bot lane, and I won the game. I don't know anything about League of Legends. I just know bot lane. I was going bot lane, yeah. Anyway, so what's up, man? You want some power?
I'm sorry. Could I have more Eldritch Blast?
Yeah, for sure, man. I just need like a bag of Doritos and a Mountain Dew.
It's supposed to be Red Bull.
A Red Bull. Yeah.
And that's the famous blood god.
Yeah. And that voice was heavily inspired by a character from NADPOD. Yeah. Now I only want to do the blood avatar voice. And his name was Dave, I think. It came out, his name was Dave, and he might have lived with his mom. I don't remember the lore too well. But yeah, so DM and players, we're DMs. We run the game. I've never ran a pre-made campaign. There's a lot out there. I have not
really
even looked at them, like Curse of Strahd, Waterdeep.
Vecna. The giant one. There's like the Princes of the Apocalypse. I think there's the Storm Giant one.
You know more than me.
Personally, my players did get a Christmas present for one of my other players. It was the Curse of Vecna book, and they tried to run it. Bit off more than they could chew. One, because pre-written stories are awesome because, they have all these traps, all these NPCs. You can just go. It's like it's pre-made. You have all this stuff you need. Mm-hmm. The only problem with that is it's much harder to wing off the top of your head, and you actually need to know this lore to a T to actually put it out. And I think that's where they bit off a bit more than they could chew. And so it was a lot of planning, and you think you spent like 2, maybe 3 hours going over all this. Okay, I got this. Party blows through it in like an hour, and you're like, okay, I guess that's it.
Then what I do is I throw them an NPC that just has some ridiculous thing that they have to talk about for a while.
That's true.
Like a troll kicked my dad. Literally, it was just the intro to get them to fight a troll. A guy came out of the woods and was like, "Help! A troll kicked my dad. My dad's fucking dead." And they're like, "A troll kicked your father?" He's like, "Yeah, right in the back of the head. His head's gone. Clean off." And they just talked about it for like 10 minutes before the fight, which was fun. What else about D&D? It's collaborative, which a lot of people, if we're getting into the do's and don'ts, or do we want to do that yet?
We're going to take a quick break here with our sponsor. Welcome back to Jaquittal. I'm here with your Welcome back to Jaquittal. I'm here with your co-host Nevin Hugh, and I am Ryan Rose, and we're back with our do's and don'ts with D&D.
Should we do don't to start?
Yeah, sure. Do don't. He said do.
Shut up. I would say a do is to remember that it's collaborative and that everybody wants to have fun, which also leads into a don't, which is don't be selfish. Remember that everyone is there and they all want to have a good time, and especially the DM. DM works so hard, man. So like
when some monologue, just for the love of God, let him monologue.
Yeah, I used to do a lot more, and then I just kind of stopped. The world broke me down. Now all my fucking bad guys are just like idiots. Everyone's so dumb. Just because it's easier to play for me, I'm just like, wow, you shut up, I'll kill you. Lightning bolt. But yeah, just remember that you're all on the same team.
This cannot be understated or overstated. I need to, piling onto that, you're absolutely on the same team. Do work as a party. It is this game, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of DM's opinions, only works if it's party versus DM and no other way. Because I have a don't that's leads into this quite immediately is I have a lot of new players that as soon as I get them into D&D, they're like, I don't want to be a gnome and fuck with the party. I want to steal all their shit, and I want to make as much problems as I possibly can. Yeah. And I'm like, it's a cool gimmick at the start, but then it immediately pisses people off. And, when you're in that role-play environment, most people often don't take it as seriously, which is fine. But then when you don't take it as seriously, they'll be like, I'm also a barbarian. I'll just straight up kill you. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll kill you on the spot. And they can do that. And it's hard not to, be like, don't kill them if they're being a dick.
Yep.
So do be on the same team and fight the DM with all your heart. Don't fuck with your party. That's my job, not your job.
True. I used to be, as a DM, I was very like, oh no, I don't, what if this might be too hard or challenging, whatever. Now, every time I do it, I'm like, this should be hard enough, and I'm going to try to kill one of them.
If you think it's too hard,
if your players know, once they kind of know their characters and what the game is, you you want to kill them so bad.
And which is good for a DM. But as a player, you want to, help your team,
True. And death isn't. It depends on where you're at in the game, but it's not.
It's not absolute.
Yeah, it's not absolute.
Shout out to the absolute. All is the absolute. All is the absolute.
Do they have I was gonna do this. It's like the symbol for the absolute, but I don't think that's true. Do they
We'll
have
just
one?
cut to like a face painting, or you can
I was
just
gonna say
edit
the
like
skull with the
the skull.
triangle on it. Hell yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say earlier too. Baldur's Gate rule. The max I'll ever go to is level 13. Yeah. So your do was just agreeing with mine, saying
Pretty much
Same
was just
as.
a pile-on, but you got one more do and don't.
I got another don't.
What's your don't?
I forget. I literally just had it, and now it's gone. A don't that I have. What was it? I don't remember. I'll let
Don't
you
that I
take it over.
have. Don't that I have is
Stupid.
understandably it can get, especially with modern days, it can get pretty easy to get sidetracked and ADHD'd out and just immediately go to your phone when it's not your turn or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Be in the moment, for the love of Chrysler.
Yeah.
For the love of
I love
Chrysler
those
and the love of the
cars.
Slaw God. Just, stay in the moment, because it's really annoying when you're going around the table in combat especially, and it's like, all right, Nevin, it's your turn. And Nevin's just like,
I have a violet dragon's blood. Does that do anything?
you've had quite literally 7 minutes to do this.
What if I took like a rope and I tied it around their ankles?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Actually, what does the dark vision do?
You see what I mean? That entire time, he was on his phone, wasn't paying attention. At the last second, he's like, okay, now he's now planning on what he wants to do for his turn. When it's not your turn,
You should know
you should be planning.
or have a loose idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's why also fighter champion, very complex. There's a lot of options you could choose, like attack with greatsword, attack recklessly with greatsword. Is that or is that barbarian?
That's barbarian.
Fuck.
But if you miss, you can just action surge and
That's
attack
it.
again.
Yeah, that's it.
And then again.
True. Depending on the level. Yeah. No, that's a very good one. I remember. I have some stories to share, but I won't on the podcast.
Did any of your do's and don'ts come back?
Do know your character. It's pretty easy. A lot of people getting into D&D, they don't want to make their own. Like I've had to make some characters for people, and then they get to the table, and they're like, again, can I use my dark vision? Nope, this passive trait. You just kind of have it. It's not really an ability or anything. It's just shit like that.
What is this? Evasion.
Yeah, exactly.
Sneak attack? I do now.
Especially with like D&D Beyond, it's very easy to make your own character. Like, granted, that has limited options if you're not paying for it, as compared to the player's handbook. But I'm at the point now where if I need to make a character, it takes me like 15 minutes, if that. Where it's like, so as some advice for DMs, have a session 0, which I rarely do, but you get everyone together and you get them to make their characters, and you can help them make it, but have them write all their things down onto a piece of paper. Like just even the act of like note taking, at least for me, that's how like I learn. So I feel like that's how I should get other people to learn. And then also you talk about the world that you're in, the lore, and then they can be like, oh, I like the way this city sounds. I'll be from there, XYZ. And then they can get more invested in the story and have it relate to their character rather than just showing up and be like, yeah, my name's Fart Gilbo. I'm a gnome fighter, and I just want to kill. Like, well,
That's another don't. Don't be a murder hobo, okay?
That's true.
Look, I get it. Some people just, again, back to my first point, some people just I want to kill this guy. I want to kill this guy. I want to kill this NPC that's clearly very vital and important. How about we just don't, We just don't. Something that I always try to recommend to people, and especially to my players, is, role play. Try to act like you are that character, and what you do does have consequences. Would you just, out of the blue, just start robbing a bank? Probably not. Yeah. If you're a thief, there is some good merit to that, but are you just going to do it and say, cops aren't going to get me, I'm not going to go to jail, there's not going to be any consequences to... There's always consequences. And what makes D&D fun is, yes, it's imaginative, but what separates it from just... those games we used to play as a kid where it's like, okay, now pretend I'm this, now pretend I'm that, now pretend I'm this, is there's actual rules and consequences to follow, and it's not just random bullshit.
Where it's like, I have a stick, I go, bang, I shot you, and you go, no, you did, no, exactly. I dodged.
Well, my stick has auto-aim, actually, so you didn't. Exactly.
And then obviously, your mom comes out and is mad at you. Maybe I'll cut that.
If you're being abused at home, okay,
please,
this is a safe spot.
Yeah. That was a joke. You should call somebody. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Unless anything comes to us right now.
This is a personal thing for me. Just pitching off of him. Nevin mentioned D&D Beyond, which is a great place to just accumulate. It does all the math for you, and it's very easy to navigate. Personally, I've always been a more traditional, just pen and paper kind of guy. I think it's a lot more creative too, when you can personalize your own character sheet, and you can put things where you want them, and you have it a bit more organized than D&D Beyond, which I like, especially for new players, because that can get a little bit overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But that's just me.
Or even if you don't like pen and paper, you can do it all. You can download the PDF, the editable PDF, and then you can have, what I do is I have the PDF on half of my screen on my computer, and the other half of my screen is the handbook. So I can, as I'm looking at the handbook, I can even copy and paste or just write it down into the PDF. And then all my players at my last campaign in Halifax, they would always just have their stuff on their computers.
That's really sweet.
But then the only thing is they update their character sheet and then not save. So make sure auto save is on that document, because there'd be times when we'd level up and they'd have all this new gear, and then we get to the next session, they'd be like, by the way, I lost everything we did last session. I don't remember what I acquired. And I'd be like, well, I think you got this item and XYZ and the other thing.
Agreed.
One quick don't, which is highly personal to my life. Don't bring a dog over that you care about more than the game. Which happened one time to somebody who was, they showed up to every session. They'd want to show up, and then they would sit there on their phone the whole time until it was their turn. Then they'd do their ranger, and then they would attack with their swords. I was like, well, that's not okay. And then they would go back on their phone. And on our last climactic final session, there were dogs sitting, and brought the dog over, and then just only paid attention to the dog until eventually we kind of kicked him out with the dog. We were like, yeah, this is the final session. We're trying to wrap up. If you're not going to pay attention, you should leave.
So, you see, pay attention. Don't be on your phone.
Yeah. Sweet.
So, how to run D&D. How would you get started, and how would you recommend other players to get started in D&D?
I would say the first thing you want to do is consume some form of D&D media.
Absolutely.
Whether it's Vox Machina, the show, any of the play shows like Dimension 20, Critical Role, NADPOD is my personal favorite. And I've listened to their campaign 1. It's 100 episodes, Each episode's like an hour to an hour and a half long. I've listened to the whole campaign at least twice, maybe 3 times.
Damn, that's commitment.
It's really good. The storytelling's, it makes me envious. I'm like, damn, I wish I could weave a web like that. Or just like download the PDFs. Like you could do all this for free. You could buy the books. It's very nice to have the physical copies, but you can get the player's handbook and the monster manual. I think you can also get the DM's guide from somewhere
We don't have a DM.
online, but you can get them, at least the player's handbook and the monster manual you can get online for free. Or you could, when I downloaded them 4 years ago onto my computer, and I haven't uninstalled them since. And then just like look through that, see what's up, because it tells you in the books like a lot more about the world of D&D and the specifics on how to play it, which we will get into probably in another episode. We'll break down the nitty gritty.
Yeah, but I think that's a great way to start Dungeons and Dragons, is just consume a little content, know the basics of action economy, just how to run a fight.
True. I remember I saw something online of like a cheat sheet of like actions and what to do on your turn. And I was like, that's good. I should print that out for new players.
Now, here's another question that I was actually thinking about. If for a newcomer who's starting D&D, would you recommend them start with Baldur's Gate, or would you recommend them start with just a normal session?
Interesting. I don't know.
Shout out Baldur's Gate 3, an excellent video game D&D role-playing game.
Baldur's Gate is very good. But again, you're still limited in Baldur's Gate because it's pretty, there's a lot of variance to it, but it's a pretty linear story, like all things considered. Like playing my Dark Urge playthrough, I noticed like I would do some Dark Urge things and it would still keep you on a path really close to like not Dark Urge. And I was like, I did terrible things. And like I'm still going to the same place like as the last campaign. But yeah, and you get like, obviously I think I'd recommend regular session first, because you get much more freedom, at least in dialogue, which was always my favorite thing. Like I love playing Skyrim and Fallout for the dialogue options and stuff like that. And like the Outer Worlds was pretty good with that too when I played it. Baldur's Gate is also really good with the dialogue options, but you're still limited by what the dev team wrote, whereas in actual D&D, free range.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate is a really fun game, and if you want more confidence to start your D&D campaign, I think dabble in Baldur's Gate 3. It's a great way to learn, to like actively learn, especially if you don't have a party yet. However, I do think that getting into like an actual D&D campaign off rip and just jump and dive on in right into it is a great way to start. Don't be nervous. Everyone's there to have fun, play a game. It's going to be fun. Crack a couple beers, smoke a couple doobies, depending on what country you're from, and then just have some fun.
True. And don't be afraid to do a voice. A lot of people are afraid to do
voices. Voices are so much fun. And granted, some people can't do a lot, but don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. I just do like gruff voice, little guy voice, or blood avatar voice.
I can't do that.
Withered old man voice.
There you go.
Just really breathy.
My default is just like the regal. Well, of course. Well, posh, yes, posh, of course.
Another thing I got from NADPOD was to make a character insufferable, you just make him really like, oh, I'm way better than you. Just give him a annoying little fancy boy laugh, and your players will hate that person. They'll be like, we have to kill him.
There you go. Yeah. There's some inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. And you find it everywhere. Like anytime I watch something or play something D&D related, it gives me ideas for other things. that like some are like really like I look back on it and I'm like, I just fucking basically copied that shit. Like I thought I was doing something different, but like it's fundamentally very similar. And other times it'll be something like totally different. It'll just like spark the weirdest idea.
Yeah, from anime to other D&D campaigns, just to movies, even just to real life. There's so much inspiration you can pull from and just, make your own story from.
Yeah, dude. My favorite is I played Disco Elysium. Fucking goated game.
He keeps
It's
telling me about
such a
it.
good
I've yet to
game.
play it.
If you want a good single player, it's very, very dialogue heavy. It's a lot of like voice acting. It's basically like a audiobook that you play.
Okay.
But it's very fun. And the story is really good. But there's a murder mystery aspect to it. And so then I played that game, and then the session we played when I moved back here a couple months ago, I set up a murder that you guys investigated. If you remember that at all, it was a while ago when we only played the one session. But yeah, I was just very inspired to like make a murder scene, and I set up all these clues and stuff. It was, again, not similar to the murder in the game, but just the idea of like, I love murder mystery stuff, man.
Yeah, the mystery, the aspect, the detective work, the solving, all that good jazz.
I want to do a exclusively like detective D&D campaign, but that's a lot of stuff for me to set up.
And it's also
a lot of mysteries.
super hard for just in general, just be like, here's these breadcrumbs and a lot of clues, and they're like, door? They're like, no door, but maybe around the door? They're like, handle. Okay, good try.
Yeah. Roll me a perception check again.
Yeah.
12. Yeah, that's good enough. You see, you see the symbol beside the door. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a little harder to do that. But speaking of which, why do you love D&D?
I like being characters. I think that's where mine comes from. I love making like tomato and softball. There's like these two characters I made. They were like chubby little dwarf kids. One was named Tomato and one was named Softball, and they were like, our dad named us after his two favorite things. And so then I thought about their dad being a guy who just eats tomatoes whole at like their softball games, and he forced them to play softball. So that was their characters. Like they just played, they played softball, and while their dad ate tomatoes. And I was like, I thought that was really fun. And then they were aligned with a man named Ram Daniel.
Ram Daniel. One more time. Ram Daniel.
Who was a man with a ring of the ram that, like, when he punched a giant floating spectral ram head would come out.
Okay, that's
and maul
sick.
people. And then they were on a arcane car driving through the desert chasing the party. And then they had, like, a across the cars Mad Max desert.
Oh, I remember this.
road
Yes,
battle.
yes.
Yeah. And they killed Tomato and Softball pretty quickly.
Tomato softball, no. They're just kids, man.
Cut to a in memoriam section of their photos. Just a completely bald, chubby dwarf kids. Yeah, but yeah, I like the free dialogue freedom to be able to talk to somebody and do a voice and pretend you're somebody cool, somebody badass is very fun. And I think that's why I started DMing, because I was like, well, I could be 8 different characters every day if I DM. And then obviously you make a cool character that you're like, oh, this guy's going to help the party. They're going to love him, think he's badass. And then they meet him and they're like, fuck this guy. We like Glorp the Goblin.
That
And
one
then-
guy you just introduced for fuck's sakes off the top of your head, and you're like, this guy.
Yeah. Like a Nalgene-esque character. Which I'll talk about another time. Yeah, why do you love it?
I love D&D for... I love D&D for the storytelling above all else. I love to, especially with my DM background, I love to tell a story. I love my players to be a part of that story, and not just for me to lore dump on people, but I love to see what they would do in these given scenarios because the party is the main characters of this story. The best way to explain Dungeons and Dragons is imagine Harry Potter. I wrote Harry Potter. I'm not, I'm gonna cut all that out.
That's awesome, dude.
We're just gonna cut all this out. So just for example, why I love D&D is Lord of the Rings. Let's just say that I wrote Lord of the Rings, right? I made the entire. I know, right? I'm rich. I make the entire layout of Lord of the Rings, all the bad guys, the world building, all the history, all the wars, all the magic, all that jazz. And then my party comes in and they're like, my character is a hobbit named, I forget the hobbit's name.
Which one?
Exactly.
Frodo or Bilbo?
So Nevin's character is Frodo. My Rise character is Bilbo. And then the other guy is Legolas. And then they navigate the world. And I love to see how they would do in those given scenarios. And just the character development, there's nothing better than good character development, in my opinion. Seeing a person grow in real time and the decisions they make is just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's fair. And quickly, we know Bilbo and Frodo didn't go on the adventure together. Bilbo was the protagonist of The Hobbit, and he gives the ring to Frodo in the first Lord of the Rings movie. And then Frodo fucks off and leaves Bilbo back in the Shire. Just for those nerds who are going to complain, we're nerds too, and we know.
I don't know. He knows.
Okay. I only know because I watched them for the first time ever.
Okay.
Recently. Well, I watched the first one. I've seen 3 times, and then it was only recently that I watched the other 2. I don't know why. I just never bit on. Because again, I'm like, I wouldn't do that. That's stupid. Get the fucking eagle to take the ring.
If they just rolled the fucking eagle, they would have saved 4 movies of travel time.
Why didn't they just fucking get a bunch of black powder and blow it up? Okay. I know it has to be in the fires. I wish it was forged.
Another reason why I love D&D is just, this is a very small part about it, is it's a really good just, bonding experience with friends. Doesn't even have to be exactly D&D related, because sometimes me and my group will just get together and we'll create scenery, like this lovely scenery you see behind us. My lovely party made this mountaintop for our famous season 1 finale of Mount Lolo, the Mount Lolo fight, where a barbarian had to go fight his orc father who controlled the mountain. And it was great. We spent a lot of good time on it. They made a lot of great details. The top comes off and they fought inside the mountain, climbed their way up to the top. And it was just great, shooting the shits, doing some arts and crafts. Who doesn't love arts and crafts?
Me. I'm very excited to show you my setup and how we run games. I'll bring that in when we talk about it. Probably next episode we'll do.
They're ducks, okay? There's no minifigures. They're ducks and cubes.
They're not ducks. They're babies.
They're babies.
You'll see. Stick around.
Their own.
That's the teaser for episode 2. Is you get to see my setup.
Babies and figs. Come back next time on Can I Quest That Line?
Yeah. So I think this comes down to if you've liked what you've heard so far and you're interested, is D&D right for you? Probably. If you like working together as a team to do collaborative storytelling, if you like role playing, if you like getting into arguments with your friends, playful arguments.
Not always.
Sometimes
Not always.
very real arguments. And you have to, and then especially as a DM, which is I do this all the time, but conflict de-escalation is
absolutely,
you got to be good at that.
Absolutely. Sometimes people get a bit too into character. I get that your character, is a cynicist. Doesn't have to be an asshole. Okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be an asshole.
True. find an excuse to why you would, like, even in my Dark Urge playthrough in Baldur's Gate, I was like, I justified having companions because originally I was like, if I'm Dark Urge, I'm just gonna kill him. Then I was like, well, no, I can use them. Like, even if you at the start you're like, okay, I need allies for now because I know I can't do this alone. You don't necessarily have to love it, but find an excuse to work as a team that would be true to your character, even if you're a fucking little edgy bastard.
Yeah, and like, pick any villain ever. Are they just all blatant assholes to your face all the time that just, insult you religiously? No. They're smart, they're conniving, sometimes they're a little dim-witted, but they always have like, different personalities about them, and they're not just, straight up out to get you.
Even the Joker will sometimes have a team up with the Scarecrow.
Exactly. Sometimes he even has a girlfriend. I don't know how that works. That's gonna be a fucked up relationship.
No, that's healthy. I've had a similar relationship. I was Harley Quinn.
This is a safe space on Griddle. If you ever need help, feel free to contact someone.
So yeah, I'm gonna go call CPS. Because I was a child at the time. I feel like they'll get to the root of the issue. I was 17.
Oh my
Joker
God.
was 32.
Oh my God. But yeah, if you like roleplay, if you like hanging out with your friends, or if you're just a drama kid, this is a great way to start acting and to get some good experience acting.
True. I know. I used to go a lot bigger with the voices, and now I've kind of tamed it back. I have to get back into my grandiose speeches and stuff.
Trying. Don't be afraid of ChatGPT also. It's don't rely on it, but it's a great helper.
Yeah. It's what I did last time was I wrote bullet points, all the things I wanted in the world, and then I was like, oh, please take this lore, and then just write like a epic intro to this world at the start of a campaign to read, and then it did it. And I made like a few edits, but for the most part, it had all my lore in there, and it was accurate to what I said. It just made the words flow a lot better because sometimes I'm in a flow and I write something. Like one time I wrote this thing and I got a compliment like, did you write that? I was like, yeah. And they were like, that was like something I'd read in a fantasy novel. And I was like, stop you. Yeah. But then I was riding high off that for a minute. I don't even remember what it was. Whatever.
I have to read you my our season 2 finale excerpt that the ChatGPT wrote. It was like my team was like, yo.
Yeah. Some scary, imposing villain speech that makes you scared to fight him. It's always good.
Well, anyways, time to go pump some spell slots for our 2 DMs here. That's nerd talk for Hit the Gym.
Is it?
It is now.
Okay. We're going to go kill some farm some goblins, get some XP so we can get stronger.
Making gold and fucking dwarves.
You do you. I'm gonna keep fucking my tieflings. Grab by the horns. Okay, well, thank you for joining us for episode 1, the first official episode of Can I Quest That Line? If you have anything at all to say, leave it in the comments. Don't subscribe yet.
It's going to be all ginger comments.
Wait for episode 2, and then if you like episode 2, subscribe.
Yes, and don't do anything crazy, okay? If anything, don't subscribe until like episode 10. All right, we're humble folk. Well,
yeah. Honestly, we don't even want you to subscribe.
yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Except for Red Bull, get in here.
If you're thinking like, fuck these guys, you should subscribe to spite us.
And we'll fuck you. Come to Calgary.
And pay us?
Is prostitution legal here?
I mean,
Role play.
I don't know. Okay.
Anyways, I'm Ryan Rose.
And I'm whatever names he said for me at the beginning of the show.
Long John Can't Say That Silver.
Yeah, something like that.
Big Hung.
Big Hong?
8-legged Chinese man?
I know. I think You're obsessed with the Chinese.
You're the one who brought it up.
You're obsessed with the Chinese, not me. I have Chinese friends. Thank you. Have a good one.
Shout out Irvin. Well, I think we got a lot of good stuff. What was that, like an hour?